and then I came across you first. Movie you played, I think it was Mel Walker in Race.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Another Sudeikis project.
That's
Now
it.
you're doing Lasso with him, but you guys just got done filming not too long ago, right?
Yeah, I got back here in July 5th. So it's
Wow,
been like, yeah, I've been here for like a month and a few weeks now. So it's like
that's crazy.
we, yeah, we
All
just finished it.
over, all over the UK, right?
Yes, sir.
How crazy over there though right now with the virus. I mean, it's like back last year, early March. Isn't it crazy?
Yeah, it was even crazy. Like when we were there, it was lockdown. So it was like
Hmm.
I think it was the worst that it could have been, you know, like I feel like maybe next year it'll be a little bit more chill,
Sure.
but we were like masks and like social distancing. We couldn't do anything. It was pretty bad.
No, that's crazy. Does that stuff affect you though? Anyways, like, I mean,
It's
in
weird.
yeah.
Relationships with the people, like the other people that you're working with,
Hmm.
are like strained. You know, it's like I can't really like hang
Yeah.
out with you, or we can't really like talk shit in
Right.
between space. So
Exactly.
it's a bit weird, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would think that because I mean, you're restricted, right? There's just knowing that, that's the situation. I think it's on your mind all the time. So I don't
Yeah,
think, is it harder, do you think, to feel loose in situations like that?
I think it is, but then I think also when you're in the moment with the other person in the scene, then you kind of forget. You know, it's
Hmm.
like you're more like thinking more about like what's going on
Right,
as
right,
opposed
right.
to like you and like oh my god the virus. You know.
Right, right. No, I gotcha. Now I know you're out in California. How long you been there? Because I know originally you're not from there. You made the move. How long you been there now?
That's it. I did the move 4 years ago, around 4 years ago,
Oh wow.
from Montreal, Canada.
Mm-hmm.
I was working in, well, I did Montreal, lived in Toronto for like 5 years, and then
Mm-hmm.
moved to LA. The best move for me was like to come out here. And LA's been good, man. I absolutely love the city. I understand that it's like it's not what it used to be because
Sure.
of everything going on, but I still love it, man. Where are
Mm-hmm.
you at right now?
Suburbs of Chicago, about 25 minutes from the city.
Oh, dope, dope. I
Yeah.
really want to visit Chicago. It's like from Montreal, I did a road trip all the way to LA. So like
Oh wow.
I saw, yeah, dude. And then after that, I did LA to Vancouver. So it's like I did the whole
That's
coast. It was
far.
so much fun though. Like I saw most of the country except for I didn't see Chicago, I didn't see Atlanta or New Orleans. Like those are the three major cities I
Hmm.
haven't seen.
Wow. That's crazy.
No.
Wow. So, obviously Montreal growing up, was this a career-driven move? Was this the only place you had in your mind? Was New York an option, or was you were just set on the
No, New
Hollywood?
York was definitely an option. New York was an option just because it's still on the East Coast. You know,
Yeah.
it's so easy to. I could have done an audition in the morning in New York,
Hmm.
and then legit get in my car, drive to Montreal, and do another audition at night, or even work.
Right.
So it's like Montreal, Toronto, and New York would have been a great like three city to really work in. But the only issue for me for New York is that it wasn't. It's not 100% my business. You know, there's
Hmm.
other things, there's Wall Street and all that. But
Sure.
being out here, man, you can't go to a coffee shop and not hear people talk about the business. And I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. I think for now, for me, I need to be out here. But then, yeah, maybe at one point, I'll be like, yeah, I don't want to be here anymore. Like, I don't want to hear talking about the business all the time, you know?
Right. Yeah. You need a break from. Well, you just need a break from that. I mean, would
Exactly.
you immerse yourself into the culture after a while? You need to get uncomfortable again, and you got to
Exactly.
get
Yeah.
out of that comfortable stage, or as you're not gonna ever progress. You're gonna go
And
like that.
also, like, filming in London, it was really cool because you're talking to people that are not in the business. So
Yeah.
then you're talking to like you're talking to the people that you will imitate one day on set. You know, if you're talking to like a firefighter or like someone in finance or a lawyer or something like
Hmm.
that, then you're like, oh wow, maybe I'm gonna play you at some point. So like I need to listen to what you're saying. I need to understand you and see where you're coming from so that I can imitate that at one point. Like
Right.
actors we steal things from people. Like, you know, we'll steal like, oh, I like the way I like your perspective on this. on this thing, I'll steal that for something else, you know? So that's really cool. I mean, so that's why I think for sure at one point I'll definitely have to get out of LA.
Yeah, no, I got you there. I mean, it is. It's not everyone. Most people have moved there for that common goal of chasing that dream. A lot of people make it happen. Lots of people don't. So it's the competitive nature is definitely it's just infiltrated. It's everyone's there for that common goal. But yeah, I mean that's I never looked at it that way when you're over there in London. I mean that makes a lot of sense. I mean it's nice to have that. You know, you could drop all those career-driven instincts that come to mind when you're at a public establishment, because they're not there doing what you're doing. They're just there being people, and you can communicate in a way that feels kind of comforting, knowing that hey, like they're not chasing me, they're not going after me. I could do my thing and just be me, without having that added pressure. I think that's great. No, that totally makes sense. But Montreal, what did the folks do back home? Any siblings?
Oh yeah, older brother. He has like a company for that does team building. So that's pretty cool. Like events, like he does events for offices and stuff like that. But my brother and I, when we were kids, we used to watch like movies all the time, like at least 3 movies a day. So to this day, my brother watches a lot of movies, and I also watch a lot of movies, a lot of TV too now. But like, yeah, back then we were like super passionate about watching movies, coming up with stories and stuff like that. So thanks to him, like I always had someone to watch movies with.
Right. Where did he go as far as careers go? Did he fall in the same path as you? Anything align on the same page with you guys? Or
no, not at all. He's never like, if I come up with like a good story or something like that, I'll pitch it to him, see what he thinks, you know. But no, he's never been like really about that.
Really? Wow, that's crazy. Yeah. So for you, what was the how did you people always say it's either you chase down the dream, or the job or the dream comes to you, unexpectedly. For you, what was it? Were you chasing this actively, acting as a career, or did it just pop up out of nowhere and the opportunity arose?
I always really loved it. I always loved like the business. I never thought like maybe like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be an actor or anything like that.
Sure.
I'm not even, honestly, for me, the way I see it right now, maybe I'm supposed to become a director at some point, or just a writer, or something else. But the way I see it is that I love the business. There's nothing else I like doing the most than like either going to the movies or being on set, or even leaving a movie. Just the high I get from like, oh my God, I just watched something that was so great. I love that. So I always wanted to be part of it. And then I met Orlando Jones at a Best Buy that I used to work at, and then he was like, "No, bro, if that's what you want to do, you should go and pursue it." Like,
right?
Because I was like, "It might be impossible," and he's like, "No, that's not true. Like, you're talking to me right now. I'm real. Like, you should go and pursue it." From that moment forth, I started pursuing it, but it was never a dream for me. For that, for me, like a dream for me would be to meet an alien, or like to go to the moon, Yeah. But my goal was always to become a working actor. So then that was always the goal, and always until like I pursued it. From that moment when he said that to this day, I'm still like, yeah, no, like, okay, yeah, I want to go further. I want to do this,
Yeah. How was that dream met? Was it met with support or angst when you told the folks, hey, I think this is I'm gonna go to Hollywood, I'm gonna be an actor? How did what was the response?
It was like, because as a kid I always wanted to become a lawyer, and so my mom was like, yeah, you're gonna become a lawyer, you're gonna become a lawyer, you're gonna become a lawyer. Yeah, and then at one point I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't see myself doing a 9-to-5 working with papers all day, like it puts me to sleep. I don't have the attention. Like, I don't think my brain is built for it,
Right.
Like, more power to the people that can do it, but I can't. Like, if you would tell me like, yo, if you're gonna go to this seminar that's gonna talk about business, from a 9 to 5, and if you don't fall asleep, we're going to give you $10,000. I would refuse it because I know that I would fall asleep. I could be on whatever coffee you want me to be on. I'm going to fall asleep before 12. Like, it's really just, my brain is just not made for that. And so when I realized that in college, I was doing political science, and then I told my mom, I was like, yo, I don't, because a lot of people do political science and then they go into law.
Sure.
And so I was doing that to go into law later on. And then I told my mom, I was like, yeah, I don't want to do that. I want to become an actor. And she was like, no, like that's like, at least like become a lawyer and then do that. At least you'll have something. And I was like, nah, I don't want to do that. Like, I'm wasting my time. I want to do this now, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so then I just went, and then that was like after I met Orlando Jones. And so then I moved to Vancouver. I loved it. Started auditioning there. It went super well, and then went to move back to Montreal, then Toronto, then now here.
Oh, wow.
And like my mom only speaks French and Creole because she's from Haiti, so she doesn't speak English.
Oh, wow.
So I had done a bunch of stuff in English, and so I was on TV already. But she had never seen me because she doesn't understand what I'm saying because it's in another language.
Wow.
But then the first time that she could see me really perform in French, it was on a TV show where there's like an explicit scene, like there's a sex scene. So it's me and this girl.
That went over well.
Yeah, right. So I didn't live at home back then, but like she was like, I was like, ooh, okay, it's gonna be 7. She's gonna be watching it now, you know. And so she watches the whole thing, and then at 8 she calls me. And I thought that she was going to be like, yo, it was awkward to see you do this, you know, like, or like, I didn't know what she was going to say, but the first thing she says is, she's like, okay, so in the first scene, I thought that you were not really natural. I don't think that was like, I think it wasn't really you. But then the second scene I was like, yo, are you giving me notes?
Wow. She broke it down.
She was giving me notes. Yeah. So I was like, wow, that's pretty dope. So she's really like, she's that into it, you know? So it was never a thing where it was like, nah, don't do it. Like when I said, I'm going to do it, she was like, yeah, okay. All right, then like be the best that you can be. And then she always, every time she sees me on TV, she'll be like, oh yeah, I saw you do this. I saw you do that. And like, she hasn't given me notes that much though anymore.
I think maybe she's like, I don't know if he needs him as much right now, but
yeah.
No, that's crazy. So mom's from Haiti. What? How'd she end up getting to Montreal? How'd she get there?
My mom and my dad moved to like separately. They didn't know each other in Haiti, but they moved to Canada to just to study, just as students, and then they fell in love with the city, and then they stayed.
I think I mean, you said you see yourself as a director. I think that's an idea. You could do something with that.
Yeah, that's definitely, yeah. Well, I think
crazy.
Haiti itself is an idea because there's not, like, I don't know if you know, do you know where Dominican Republic is?
Yeah, I do, but I'm not, I mean, I don't know what surrounds it.
Dominican Republic is in the Caribbean. Haiti is in the Caribbean. Did you know that both are on the exact same island? It's just divided by 2.
I didn't. That's crazy.
Yeah, most people don't know that. Yeah, and Haiti is the only country ever in history that the oppressed people took over the country to make it themselves, to make like the country themselves. Like so, all the black people on the island were slaves, and they took over the country, and that became Haiti. And like that never happened. So they took their independence from the French.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. I've only been there once. Not Haiti, the Caribbeans. My brother's wife's from Jamaica. So.
Sick. Yeah, super close. Super close.
She's the house she grew up in was this explorer. I think is it Horatio Nelson. She lives in Admiral Nelson's home in St. Andrews Parish in Jamaica. But
that's really cool.
Yeah, no, I did not know that. So they're technically on the same thing, but a line just divides the two.
Exactly.
Wow.
That's it.
That's do you still have family there?
Yeah, still family there. Yeah.
Wow, that's wild. Absolutely wild. That's interesting. And the thing is, I didn't know, is I thought it was just a Montreal to California move. There was, like you said, there were so many other stops in between.
Oh, yeah. Vancouver, Toronto.
Yeah.
Toronto is great, too. Toronto is like I always say Montreal is the Europe of America. Then Toronto is America in Canada. And then Vancouver is Canada. Like, there's nothing that compares to it. Vancouver is such a beautiful place.
Mm-hmm. No, that's awesome, man. For you, when was the when you started? I actually talked to an actor about this not too long ago. His name is Mark Willis. He does a lot of stunts and extra work. When you first started as an acting and getting these spots, did you feel you were typecast at all in any roles, just on the basis of who you are and the color of your skin? Mark was telling me when he started acting, he's from Chicago, that the first 50 to 60 opportunities came to him was Thug 1, Thug 2, Murderer 1, Murderer 2, Pimp 3, Pimp 4, all these, and he never thought about it. He's like, oh, whatever. But it is crazy that you do see that, right? Like, was that ever something that came up in the picture for you at all, or no?
I don't know. I think I got very lucky. Like most of my roles, a lot of my roles is like either like military, police, lawyer, nurse.
Right.
Like procedurals. A lot of procedurals are like that kind of.
Sure.
And I got lucky, like, yeah, I did play a few bad guys, but I did play a lot of good guys too, like, especially in American things. I feel like American things they have like a lot more like diversity in roles where it's
sure.
like in the last, maybe let's say like the last 3 years, I played a football player, like Ted Lasso.
Right.
I played a military guy. Then I played like a guy who owns a building and he has 2 tenants that are Americans. And then
pretty decent.
Yeah, it's very I guess I got lucky. I mean, even in my auditions, like if I think back of like my last, like in my last 5 auditions, one of them I played a samurai. So it's like it's really all over the place. I guess I got lucky.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say lucky. I mean, it's just, I'm just curious about that because I do hear a lot of those stories too. So it's just, it's like, why? I don't understand that. But what was the first gig for you that you actually were like, wow, I'm doing it? Like, it doing
was definitely
this.
X-Men.
It was. What was it about it? What was?
It was just because it's like people will tell you it's impossible. There's no way that you can get there. And then I see everybody that I've seen on TV for the last 10 years, like Halle Berry, Ian McKellen, Patrick Stewart, Hugh Jackman. And I was like, yo, those are like, I've seen all their movies. Like this is crazy to be amongst those people. And again, they're like, yeah, it's not impossible. We're right here. But I will always remember Hugh Jackman said that I was like, what's your best advice? And he was like, be a good person, because the people that are good people will always work. But if you're a bad person, you'll work. But at one point, that's going to dwindle and you won't be working anymore. And I was like, wow, that's a very good advice. Yeah, it's very true. Yeah. Someone very famous got fired off that set.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Now, wow. I mean, when you go there, though, I mean, for me, I could kind of relate to that. Not that experience. Obviously, I'm not in that industry, but you have to ground yourself quick. As soon as they see that, they sense that's a red flag. I mean, you're there for work and you're there to do, what they sent you there for. How quick were you able to snap out of the wow phase and get right to it? Was it hard?
I mean, it's like you use that kind of, you're nervous, you're like very nervous.
Natural.
You're like, oh my God. Yeah, I'm with all those people. So you incorporate that into your character. The nerves of telling somebody like, yo, like, I don't know, if whatever the scene is about, you incorporate whatever you're feeling into that, and then it becomes super real. The performance is completely grounded.
Absolutely. No, I got you there. The reason I asked that though is because I used to do like journalism stuff, and I got the chance to actually interview Kevin Durant years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, and same experience. I grew up watching him on TV. I had posters in my room the day I went and talked to him. And then I bring that up because you were saying you grew up watching these guys and you're right in there with them. For me, it was a little different, a little nerving. It didn't turn out the way I wanted to.
Oh, no way. How come?
It was just like, the reason is this. So it was 3 days after he told the media he's going to leave Oklahoma City and go to Golden State. And I'm like, there's no way I'm going to get this opportunity. And I walked in, and I'm like, hey, where's KD? He's like, over there all by himself, just dribbling the ball between his legs. Nobody's talking to him. I'm like, what the? So I get over there, and I do it. But it was just like talking over myself, stumbling words. And afterwards, he's just very shy, very shy. He goes, just keep your head up. I'm like, all right. I mean, I'm like, I don't know. But, he said it. And, yeah, I don't know. I wish I could get that opportunity again. But, yeah, I failed in that moment to separate why I'm there from who that individual was. And I think that opportunity, I'll never be able to shake it because how awesome of the opportunity was, I didn't capitalize on that moment. So moving forward, it's always been something to avoid. And I think there's a lot of people who have a marking point or a guide from an experience in their past that they use to make sure that they never go back to that moment, and they use that for motivation to progress and get better in whatever it is they do. But yeah, I'll never be able to shake that. But anyways,
that's good though. You shouldn't try to shake it up, because now you will always have that to be like, yo, be grounded and be fucking good. Like,
right,
you'll
exactly.
be all right. It's so important. I definitely, for me, that would be like to have a bad audition. Dude, when you have a bad audition, your next 5 are going to be so fire. Like, you're going to kill your next 5 auditions because you're like, yo, I messed up. I really don't like this feeling. It can never happen again. And then you study hard so that you know that you're going to do well.
Right.
It's almost a good feeling to fail sometimes.
I think it's necessary.
Yeah, it's necessary.
I mean, you see people who...
Like, tomorrow you meet LeBron, bro, you'll be totally fine. I'm sure of it.
We'll see if that ever happens. But, no, I think the quote that Jackman told you was, Kevin has the same quote where hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Translating that's basically what Jackman told you.
What did he say exactly?
He said hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Wow.
That's what Kevin Durant said. I mean, that's the same quote that Jackman told you, but just different.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Really cool. Yeah.
But, so X-Man, I'm interested to see relationship with Sudeikis. That started, was it before race, or did that start after race, or in that process?
That was right before race.
How'd that come to be? I mean, how'd you guys cross paths? Obviously in the industry, but what brought you two together?
Me and Jason?
Yeah.
That was just from race. Honestly, I would always say that it's thanks to Montreal that I'm where I'm at right now, because when Jason came to Montreal to film the movie, he was I think one of the only Americans that was in the movie. The rest were all Canadians. So the guy who played Jesse Owens was Canadian. Like, everybody was
U.S.
was
athlete,
Canada.
Canadian. Wow, right.
Yeah. And so what we did was like the first day of filming, because it's my city, I know Montreal so well.
Sure.
I know all the restaurants and all the cool spots to go to. I used to party back then, so like I knew where to go. So I took them all out. I was like, yo, let's go to this restaurant. Let's go to that place. And then every place that we went to, people were like, oh my God, Mo, what's up? How you doing? I'm like, yo, those are my boys. Take care of them when you see them, da-da-da. And then they really, like, they had a blast in the city. They really enjoyed it. Especially, like, me and Jason spent a lot of time. When we had time off, I would show him around. We would go to restaurants. I would bother him with questions about acting and stuff like that, And he's so generous with his time and with his experience. He's the best. And he was like, we became pretty close in that moment. And then after that, he when it was done. And then moved to LA. I do a play, and I see Jason. I'm like, oh, hey, you been da-da-da. And then he's like, yo, I'm about to do this TV show. I'm like, that's so cool, because I had seen the commercials before. I don't know if you saw the commercials. You could tell it's not the same character, but it's still like very interesting. It's sure. I found it so funny. And I remember, I think when I saw him, I think maybe like less than a week ago, I had watched those clips again, because I was like, yo, that's such a funny, it's such a funny skit that he did, And then I saw him and we talked about that. He's like, yeah, I'm going to play a coach. I'm like, wait, isn't that the coach that you played in the commercials? He's like, yeah. I'm like, dude, that's amazing. You should definitely do that. But now, if you see the two characters, they're really different. You know,
Sure.
like the Ted Lasso now is so much more of a real person. And you might think he's dumb, but he's like not dumb at all, you know. But the character was dumb. The character that you played on the commercials, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was so that's how we became friends. It was really just from the love of Montreal.
That's crazy. Now, obviously, this is a different type of project because one, it's not. It's a TV show, I would say, but it's a digital streaming thing, so it's a little different. Was it an interesting experience to try to explain to folks back home, like, this is a TV show, but it's not on. This is what it was. That kind of new to you, because it seems like all the stuff that you've done has been either big screen, right, in theaters, stuff like that. This was your first, would you say, kind of different type of medium project, and was it different than other projects, or essentially the same as far as production goes and things like that?
Well, no, it was the same thing for that, but it was a little bit. I think thanks to Netflix, people know about streaming now, you know.
Yeah,
But
obviously.
it was more like, what's Apple Plus?
Yeah.
You know, people didn't know about Apple Plus. They knew about Netflix, Prime, Hulu, you know, all of those, but they really didn't know about Apple Plus. And then it's like I become like a sales rep for Apple now, because people are like, "What's the show on?" I'm like, "Apple Plus." They're like, "Oh, I don't have it." I'm like, "Well, if you have a new Apple product, if you register it, you'll have it for free."
Right.
You know, so like I become a rep kind of, you know. But yeah, it's like a lot of people are like, "Oh, do you like what's it on?" And then I tell them, and they're like, "Oh, I don't have it." You know, but like now it's starting. It's starting that people are having Apple Plus, so they're definitely doing well.
Right. It's everything. Any Apple product you get now basically comes with it, or you get it from buying it. You get like 3 months, 6 months of it for free. So it's like unavoidable everywhere you turn. You know.
That's it.
Yeah, that's great. Now, obviously, you're playing a keeper in there, Thierry Zoreaux. Were you ever even into soccer at all? I mean, was this? I mean, I'm a big EPL fan, huge EPL fan. I love Chelsea through and through. But I mean, for you, was it like, were you a fan of it? Were you into it, or was it kind of new to you to kind of immerse yourself into this? And if that's the case, do you think it was easier because you went into it without, this self-perceived expectation of what you see on the television? You're going in there new, kind of, taking this in as all new, fresh, unaware of it. Did that help you think with playing the role that you do?
I think it definitely helped because I'm very inquisitive. So for me, I was like, oh, okay. So then what is this? What's the sport? Who are the players? How are you playing? Like, I'm always on. I'm always learning. I think maybe if I knew, I would maybe take more like time off in my brain while we're filming. But because I'm like, I don't know it well.
Right.
I never really played it. I played like before I went on Ted Lasso, maybe I had played 5 times in my life, like it wasn't really a sport that I really played. I played American football as a kid. So like that's the one thing I knew, but it was just no, I think it's great because I'm like, okay, I want to learn about this.
Sure.
Like this is really fun. It's really, really cool. And like I now as an adult too, and like I'm older, I watch most sports and I'm like, football is one of the only ones that has, it's like very classy, you're not like hitting people.
Right.
It's like, I feel like it could definitely become the #1 sport in the world.
Yeah.
If it's not already that.
I think it is. Yeah.
I think it is. And it makes a lot of sense. I think the NBA is close to that too. But then football, I love it. I love like American football. I absolutely love it because that's the sport that I played, and I'm like kind of aggressive in that way. So like you want to hit me, and I'm gonna hit you.
Right, I'll go right back at you. Yeah.
Exactly. But like, would I want my kids to play it? I don't know. and it's to watch it. You really have to understand the rules. And
Sure.
there's so many rules. But football is just you put this ball in this net. That's it.
It's about as
NBA,
simple as it
same thing.
gets.
Exactly. Hockey also very similar, but then the fights and the violence, it's a little bit like But football comes back again, where it's like it's just a beautiful sport. It's just skill, you know.
Yeah.
So that's I'm starting to really enjoy it, and I'm enjoying playing it. I try to play it as much as possible, and then I enjoy watching it.
Yeah, no. I want to touch on something you said there. You said, yeah, I played football. Well, I have my kids play it. I want to touch on that because there's a lot of people, who I hear say the same thing. People who played it their whole life, people who actually make it to the NFL, have kids, and they go, I don't know if he should play. Why? Is it because of what we know now as far as health goes? Is that the big reason?
Yeah, I think so, because honestly, some of the best times of my life were being on the bus with the guys.
Absolutely.
Like sometimes to this day, I think about it sometimes, and I laugh about jokes that we used to make on the bus. It was amazing. It was such a moment. It was such a moment in my life, and the camaraderie, like of just being all together in the locker rooms, like
absolutely
the conversations we would have and everything. And I can only imagine as an adult how a locker room would be now, when you're talking about like real stuff, like real life. Back then we were kids, like we were just talking shit, but now we would be like
different,
real conversation, as men. It would be, it's definitely something that I would want my kids to have. But to like the health stuff, I don't know about all that, man. Like the CTE and all of that, it's a bit rough.
Yeah, I mean, it is crazy though. Even though everything is getting bigger, faster, stronger as our people, technology is so extreme. I mean, to where it is now, even with all these resources that we have to help combat, fight, and educate us on the effects and damages that playing a sport like that has on us, it is still met with hesitation and caution. And I think has it been like that forever? It's just really been like the past 5 years, full force. There's been a lot of, backdraw from it. And it is interesting. It is crazy to wrap my head around. I mean, I've played it. I loved it. But I'm in that same position as you. And I don't know really why. I think it's just you hearing these stories of people that maybe you grew up idolizing, watching, losing their life to something that could have been preventable years ago from playing the sport that they love. And they're not losing their life from it. That enabled the decision to end it. But it is just so crazy what it does on your body. I mean, even with hockey. I mean, Patrice Bergeron for the Bruins in 2013 finals, he played the entire Stanley Cup finals with 2 fractured ribs and a lacerated lung. But he said, I had to play. It's the Stanley Cup finals. I mean, they're doing, yeah. It is crazy.
That's crazy.
I mean, I don't know. It's nuts, but that's exciting. I mean, how involved actually is it that Apple is with the production itself? Because I see photos, obviously Tim Cook at the premieres and stuff like that. Is it a very community family type bond with them and the production, the crew, the cast? Is it very welcoming in that sense? Or are they just branding it and putting it out there? How in per se are they with the entire team on it, and have they been awesome?
Yeah, they've been really awesome. Like especially out here in LA, London. They were cool, but we were in production, so it's a different story. But out here, they've been like super cool. Like it's on first name basis.
Right.
Like we talk all the time, and it's always like, okay, this event is going to be this, da 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 da, and then they really take care of you once you're there. They've been really, really cool.
Mm-hmm. When would you look back at the journey that you've been on so far? Would there be any moments that you could kind of touch on that kind of molded you into the person and actor that you are today? And if so, what are those? Obviously, there's probably not a singular moment. Maybe there is. But how did those moments help mold you and define you into the actor and person that you are today? If you can't touch on some of those.
I think it's, again, like I said, like just being inquisitive and asking questions, especially
Sure.
to people that you're working with.
Working
You
with.
know,
Yeah.
I got very lucky because most of the people that I've worked with,
Mm-hmm.
I've asked them questions and they were super cool with it.
Right.
Now I don't know if I could have fallen on the bad apple and then he's like, bro, just leave me alone.
Yeah.
But none of them were like that. You know, like I did a play with Anna Camp and Thomas Sadusky,
Oh.
and they were so chill. You know, I would ask them questions all the time about theater and stuff like that. They
Mm-hmm.
would always help me and hold me by the hand and tell me what to do and all of that. And they were always great. And
Mm-hmm.
like someone like Hugh Jackman took the time to tell me, like, yeah, just be a good person and you'll go far. You know, like things like that. I got very lucky to also to be inquisitive and I always ask questions and to
Mm-hmm.
get to fall into like great people to give me great
Absolutely.
advice. The best advice, one of the best advice I've ever gotten was my buddy Josh Hopkins. I told him about, like, you know, like I don't know if I would want to go to the States or whatever when I was in Canada, and then he was like, because he's American,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, you can stay in Montreal, in Toronto, and Vancouver, and you're gonna work all the time. You'll be with your family, you'll have a blast. But if you want to win the Super Bowl, you got to come to the States.
And that's what
And he
hit.
was so right. Yeah, he was right. Moved to LA, and then everything changed, and it was so much better.
Wow, that's crazy. So you've been there now for a bit, man. Well, that's great. I mean, did how supportive is the brother still with this? I mean, is he? I mean, you guys obviously were close growing up, but are you guys? Is that relationship still the same to this day too? I mean, now doing what you guys grew up, loved watching, being in this stuff, you know, sharing the moments as kids, watching this stuff. Now you actually doing this stuff. How has that relationship changed and evolved and gotten better over the times?
Yeah, but we always talk about movies. I think that's like the one thing, like, you know, like people change, people grow up and they change,
Mm-hmm.
but that's the one thing that's
Stays
still like,
constant.
yeah, it stays constant. Just to talk about movies. For me, honestly, dude, I can talk about movies for days on end, man. I love it. I love it.
Top 5 movies, go.
Top five movies. My favorite all time is True Romance.
True
Uh,
Romance.
yeah,
Wow.
True Romance is one of Quentin Tarantino's first scripts, if
First.
it's not his first.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't direct it. It's the person who directed is, oh my God, oh man, I'm having a British. His brother is the one who did Aliens. Man, how can I forget this?
There's too many.
Yeah, right. True Romance. I know it's Tony Scott. There you
Tony
go.
Scott.
Yeah, Tony Scott did that, and yeah, it's a great movie. I love that movie. I'd say Princess Bride, definitely up there. I love that
Oh
movie.
wow.
Yeah, I love Terminator 2.
Oh yeah,
Definitely
yeah,
one of my
yeah.
favorite movies. I love it. I really loved Interstellar. Interstellar
Interstellar.
is definitely,
I've
yeah,
never
it's
seen
definitely
that
up
one
there.
yet.
I loved it. Mad Max Fury Road, the last one that came out.
There's
I
so
love it
many.
too. Yeah, there's so many, man.
Yeah,
I love those, but like those are the movies I watch at least once a year.
yeah. The one thing that I still can't seem to shake, and I think I've created a stronger appreciation for the movies back then, like the knowing what we have now as far as resources and what we can do with technologies, computers, animation, and then seeing older movies and seeing those animations.
No, that's a good point. That's a
That's
very good point.
insane. That is
Yeah.
like The Color Purple, for instance. One of the knowing when that movie was filmed, and knowing, you know, I mean, what they were able to do with very limited capabilities and resources. I mean, that stuff. I
Yeah, it's
think
amazing.
it's just true art. It's incredible. I think, but
That's very true.
yeah. But well, hey man, I appreciate you doing this.
Well, thanks for having me, man.
You bet, man. Take care of yourself.
All right, bro.
All right, peace.